This is the part 2, okay, of our video lecture in loan receivable. Ayan. So this time, discuss natin ang impairment of loan receivable. But of course, dahil naputol yung first video natin in loan receivable, try this one. Ayan. So, you can comment down your answer. Okay, so what causes an impairment loss? Okay, so when all or portion of the loan receivable are considered uncollectible, no? So kapag part daw ng loan receivable, okay, or the entire loan receivable is uncollectible, then there is impairment loss. Yeah, so credit loss may arise. So a credit loss are the present value of all cash shortfalls. Ayan. So kapag may mga hindi nami-meet, no, na cash payment si borrower, okay? So the present value of those cash shortfalls are what we call a credit losses, okay? So expected credit losses are an estimate of credit losses over the life of the loan receivable, okay? According to standards sa PFRS 9 natin. So an entity shall recognize a loss allowance representing the expected credit losses of the financial asset measured at amortized cost, such as the loan receivable. Ayan. So kapag may indication na may impairment, no? So kailangan i-estimate, okay, ng bank or ng financial institution ang present value ng mga future cash payments, okay, with regards to a loan. Ayan. So, paano ba natin i-measure ang impairment? Okay? So, below are the factors to be considered in measuring the expected credit losses. So, pwede the probability weighted outcome, no? So, this is the estimate or the estimated losses should reflect the possibility that a credit loss occurs and the possibility that no credit loss occurs. Okay, so for example, a 70% chance that no credit loss occurs, or when there is a 30% chance that a credit loss will occur. So, pwede din the time value of money. So the expected credit loss should be discounted. So ito yung kinukompute natin yung present value, no? And reasonable and supportable information. So when determining a credit loss, there must be a reliable evidence to support its existence. So moreover, such evidence must be cost-effective. Ayan. So usually yung ginagamit natin is itong time value of money. Ayan. So the amount of impairment loss can be measured as the difference between the carrying amount and the present value of the estimated future cash flows, discounted at the original effective rate. So, when you say original effective rate, ito yung nominal interest rate niya or ng loan. Okay? So, the impairment loss will be recognized as an expense, syempre, no? So, to compute, meron tayo ditong formula, no? You just have to get the difference of the carrying amount, okay? And the carrying amount of the loan, that includes the principal, ayan, and of course the interest, okay, the accrued interest. So kung magkano yung balance ng loan, okay, at the time of the estimate plus the accrued interest if there is any, yun yung kanyang carrying amount ng loan. Ayan. Okay, minus the present value of estimated future cash flows of the restructured loan using the old effective rate. So in getting the present value of the estimated future cash flow, no, with regards to a loan, yung gagamitin natin is the nominal rate or the old effective rate. So an impairment loss account has parallel account, no, which is the allowance for loan impairment. And so pag nagre-record tayo ng impairment loss, meron din yan siyang parallel account na allowance for loan impairment. Okay? So this allowance account is a contra asset account. So meaning it has a normal credit balance. Ayan. And that is shown as a reduction of the loan account. Okay? So, how to compute the allowance for loan impairment? So, meron tayo dito. That's impairment loss minus kapag may accrued interest. Ayan. Pero kapag walang accrued interest, so automatic na yung impairment loss mo is also the allowance for loan impairment. Ayan. So, in cases kasi na kapag hindi na nakakabayad yung borrower, usually hindi na din niya nababayaran yung accrued interest. Kapag may accrued interest, i-deduct mo yun siya from the impairment loss, then you'll get the allowance for loan impairment. Now, let's proceed with some illustration for loan impairment. Okay, so you have here Universe Bank, okay, loaned 5 million pesos to bank card company for on January 1, 2018. So the term of the loan required principal payment of 1 million pesos each year for 5 years plus interest at 10%. Ayan. So nangyari ang loan sa January 1, 2018. 5 million ang ang amount na face value ng loan or the principal, at kailangan siya bayaran within 5 years, every year 1 million pesos plus interest of the principal na 10%. Ayan. So the first principal and interest payment is due on December 31, 2018. Okay? Bank card company made the required payments on December 31, 2018 and December 31, 2019. However, during 2020, bank card company began to experience financial difficulties and was unable to make the required principal and interest payment on December 31, 2020. So yung nangyari is that in 2018 nakapagbayad pa si bank card company, as well as in 2019. So nakapagbayad siya ng 2 years, no? That's 2 million. Okay? Plus interest yun siya, of course. Okay? However, during 2020, bank card company nakapag-experience ng financial difficulty and made bank card company unable to make the required principal payment and interest for the year, no? Kaya on December 31, 2020, the Universe Bank assessed the collectibility of the loan and was determined that the remaining principal payment will be collected. Okay? So, ano daw sabi? Yung principal payment ay makukolekta daw siya, or yung balance ng principal makukolekta siya. Pero, the collectibility of the interest is unlikely. So, when you say unlikely, ano siya? Okay? Probable na hindi siya makukolekta. Ayan, or less yung probability na makukolekta siya. Ayan. So, that's the meaning of unlikely, no? Or the collection of the interest is unlikely. Okay, so, the receivable has a carrying amount of 3,300,000. So, paano kinuha si 3,300,000? Diba, 5 million ang loan receivable, ang loan, okay? Less 1 million na nabayad or na binayad sa 2018, less 1 million na binayad sa 2019, that's 2 million. That's 5 million minus 2 million, kaya may 3 million ka na balance sa principal. Okay? Now, remember that for 2020, hindi nakapagbayad si bank card company kasi nga nagka-experience siya ng financial difficulty. So, 3 million pa rin yung balance na principal kasi nga hindi siya nakapagbayad. Siyempre, di ba may interest yon? Okay? So, from December 31, 2019, the last payment niya, to December 31, 2020, may interest yon for 1 year. At sa 3 million, di ba? Na balance na principal. That's 3 million times 10% na nominal rate. So, may 300,000 na interest, accrued interest, na hindi nabayaran ni bank card company. So, the carrying amount of the loan now is 3 million plus 300,000. Kaya may 3,300,000 na carrying amount ang loan. Ayan. And the date of cash flows is ito. So, makukolekta daw yung balance. Magkano yung balance? 3 million. And, makukolekta daw siya starting December 31, 2021. Next is sa 2022 and 2023. No? Ito din yung mga amount na projected. So, 500,000 lang sa 2021, 1 million naman sa 2022, and 1.5 million sa 2023. Ayan. Now, the total projected cash flow is 2 million. Okay? that is equal to the principal only. And, ayan, so hindi ito 2 million ha, this should be 3 million. No? So the total projected cash flow is 3 million. So that's 500,000 plus 1 million plus 1.5. That's 3 million total. Okay? So yung 3 million na yan, yan yung balance ng principal, di ba? Yeah. But, again, walang included na interest kasi nga payment for the interest is unlikely. Okay? So, the cash flows shall be discounted using the old effective rate at as 10%. No? Okay, so, kunin natin yung mga present value factor. No? So, from December 31, 2020 to December 31, 2021, that's one period. Okay, kunin natin yung present value ng mga cash flows na ito. Ayan. So, meron tayong present value of 1 at 10% for 1 period, for 2 periods, and then for 3 periods. Ayan. So, computations natin, syempre, the cash flow on December 31, 2021, gamitin natin yung present value factor for 1 period. Okay? Ayan. 0.9091. Okay? Ito yung present value niya. As well as, for the cash flow on December 31, 2022 na 1 million, yung gamitin natin is 2 periods naman. And then for 2023, that's 3 periods. So, the total present value natin is 2,407,900. Okay, so, the number of periods, no? Take a look at this timeline here. Ayan, may timeline tayo dito. So, si period 0, ito yung December 31. Okay, let me zoom in. Ayan. So, si period 0 here, ito yung ito yung date, no, na inestimate natin or ni-reassess natin yung collectibility or ni-reassess ni bank yung collectibility ng loan. Di ba, nag-assess siya during 2020, so that's December 31, 2020. Yan yung magiging period 0. From that date to the first principal collection, di ba? The first principal collection is December 31, 2021. That's one, ano yan, sa 1 year. Okay? 1 year or 1 period. So, 1 period yung present value natin dyan. Yan, present value present value factor natin dyan. From period 0 to the next to the second collection, no, of the principal, which is on December 31, 2022, that's 2 periods naman. And then 3 periods for the third collection and last collection. Okay? So, na-compute na natin yung present value ng cash flows, no? Ayan. So, again, that's 2,407,900. Okay. So, to compute for the impairment loss, dahil may present value na tayo, we can compute the impairment loss. So, the impairment loss is simple, no? You just have to get the difference, these two. That's the carrying amount of the loan. Magkano ngayon? That's 3,300,000. Saan kinuha sa 3,300,000? The balance of the principal of the loan, which is 3 million plus the accrued interest na 300,000 during 2020 na hindi nabayaran ni bank card company. Kaya 3.3 million. Less the present value of future cash flows na ito, 2,407,900. Ayan. Kaya the impairment loss is now 892,100. Expenses mo yan. Expenses ni bangko yan. Okay? Now, to get naman the allowance for loan impairment, of course, that's impairment loss. Ito, nakuha natin. Minus, remember na may accrued interest tayo na 300,000. So, yung accrued interest natin na 300,000, i-deduct natin sa impairment loss. Then, we get the allowance for loan impairment na 592,100. Ayan. Now, gawa tayo ng entry. Okay, so, debit loan impairment loss on December 31, 2020. Ito. Debit loan impairment loss for 892,100. A credit to accrued interest receivable. So, i-close na natin yung accrued interest receivable kasi hindi na natin yun makukolekta dahil unlikely na nga ang collection ng loan. Okay? Unlikely ang collection ng interest. Ayan. And then, credit to allowance for loan impairment, that's 592,100. Okay? So, pag tanungin kayo, how much is the carrying amount or the amortized cost, syempre, it would be the present value na na-compute natin. Or, the loan receivable na 3 million. Okay, so correction lang. Hindi yan siya dapat 3.3 million. No? That should be 3 million. Ayan. Oh. Sa ano lang yan siya? Sa typing errors lang yan siya. Ayan. So, that should be 3 million minus the allowance for loan impairment na 592. Ayan. 592,100. So, kaya meron tayong carrying amount or amortized cost na 2,407,900. Ayan. Correction lang yun. Correction lang to. Correction lang to. Kasi supposedly hindi dapat to 3.3 million. This should be 3 million. Pero tama naman yung ano niya. Kita niya. Tama yung computed carrying amount. Kaya, ano lang yan siya. Typing error lang yan siya. Okay? Now, gawa tayo ng table. Ayan. To amortize the allowance, no, for loan impairment. Okay? So, may table tayo dyan for the dates, no? 2020, 21, 22, and then 23. Ayan. So, meron tayong principal collection. So, di ba, ito yung principal collection natin. Okay? Ito yung makikita nyo dito. Ayan. Ito. Principal collection, 500,000, 1 million, and then 1.5 million. So, ito yung nandito. For 21, 22, and 23. Now, the interest income, okay, also the amortization of allowance. Okay? Ito yung column niya. And then, the carrying amount of the loan. Okay, diba? Ito yung computed carrying amount natin. Ito siya. 2,407,900. No? Ayan. Now, yung gagawin is that to get the, to amortize, no? Okay, to amortize the allowance for loan impairment, to get the interest income, ayan, dito, you multiply the carrying amount in December 31, 2020 by 10%. So, diba 10% is the original rate, interest rate, okay, or the nominal rate. Multiply mo siya by 10%, then you get the interest income or the amortization of the allowance. Okay? That's 240,790. Ayan. So, to get the carrying amount for 2021, that's, okay, so you get na muna the difference, okay? So, the difference of principal and principal collection and the interest income, that's 500,000 minus 240,790. The difference of this one, ayan, i-deduct mo sa carrying amount on December 31, 2020. Okay, so for December 31, 2022 naman, no? So same process lang siya, okay? Kunin mo ang interest income in 2022 by multiplying 10% by the carrying amount, no, of the loan, okay, in 2021. So that's 2,148,690 times 10%. Meron tayo ditong interest income. Okay, so principal collection na 1 million minus the interest income, okay, for 2022, then you get the carrying amount. Ayan, for 2022. Now, for for December 31, for 2023, no? Okay? So, yung gagawin is that, huwag mo nang i-multiply si carrying amount in 2022 by 10% para makuha ang interest income. Kasi nga, dahil nag-round off tayo, no, ng mga decimal points, kaya hindi mag-i-equal, no, kapag i-multiply mo siya sa 10% ito, si carrying amount. Okay, yung makukuha mo dito, tapos na interest income, and then i-deduct mo siya sa principal collection, it will not equal to 1,363,559. Okay? Kaya yung gagawin is that, kunin mo na lang yung difference, no? So, gagawin is that, para makuha si interest income for 2023, gawin natin is that 1.5 million, ito yung last principal collection, di ba, in 2023. 1.5 million minus the carrying amount in 2022 na 1,363,559. Then you should get an interest income of 136,441. Okay? So, ganun yun. Ayan. So, for the journal entries naman, by the way, zero na yung carrying amount. Kasi this is the final collection naman, di ba? Zero na yung carrying amount niya dito. Ayan. So, for December 31, 2021, journal entries, okay, that's a debit to cash, loan receivable, siyempre the 500,000 collection, no? Okay, so, to record the amortization, that's, okay, ano ba yung amortization? Ito yung interest income, okay? A debit to allowance for loan impairment and a credit to interest income na 240,790 kung na-compute natin dito. Ayan. For December 31, 2022 naman, the next cash collection for the principal na 1 million. Okay? And then the amortization for the interest income as well as the allowance for loan impairment. Okay? Ayan. Which is 214,869. Ito. Debit to allowance for loan impairment and then interest income. Now, for 2022 naman, the last cash collection, no, which is 1.5 million, and also the final amortization for the allowance, no? Both the allowance and then the interest income. Ayan. Okay? Okay, so that's it for the first illustration, no? In impairment, or how to compute the impairment loss. Ayan. How to compute the allowance for loan impairment. Ayan. Now, for another illustration, okay, Urban Bank granted a loan of 3 million to a borrower on January 1, 2020. So, the terms of the loan were payment in full on December 31, 2025. Ayan. So, plus interest or annual interest payment at 8% every December 31, 2020 or every year. Ayan. So, the first payment was made on December 31, 2020. Okay. So, on December 31, 2020, due to financial difficulties, the borrower informed Urban Bank that it is probably would miss the interest payment for the next 2 years. Okay? So, ano nangyari? Ang loan is, lump sum payment, no? Okay? So, may loan on January 1, 2020, 3 million. Babayaran siya in 5 years, 2025. Okay, yung marireceive lang ni Urban Bank every year is the 8% interest, annual interest, which is equal payments siya, di ba? Kasi that's 8% times 3 million, yun yung marireceive niya every year for 5 years. Okay? So, on December 31, 2020, nakapagbayad ng interest si borrower. Pero, on December 31, 2020 din, due to financial difficulty, ininform ni borrower si Urban Bank na probably for the next 2 years, hindi siya makakapagbayad ng interest. Okay? So, after that, the borrower expects to resume the annual interest payment, but the principal would be paid on December 31, 2026. Ayan, so na-move din ang payment ng principal. Okay? So, diba, that's December 31, 2025 yung original term. Pero ni-restructure siya, minove on December 31, 2026. Ayan. And on December 31 also 2020, nag-inform again si borrower na hindi siya makakapagbayad ng interest for the next 2 years. Okay, which brings us to the schedule of payment from the borrower. Okay? So, schedule no ni Urban Bank, okay, ang cash flows. Na for December 31, 2021, walang interest payment. So, no interest payment. Hindi siya makaka-receive ng interest. On 2022 also. Okay? Diba magre-resume, sinabi ni borrower kay Urban Bank na magre-resume ang interest payment pagka 2023 na. Okay? So, interest payment in 2023 is 8% times 3 million, of course. Okay, that's 240,000. For 2024, babayad siya ng interest. 2025 also. Okay, and remember na na-move in 2026 ang payment ng principal. So, in 2026, may interest payment pa rin siya. and as well as the principal. Ito yung schedule ng cash flows, no? That in every year from 2023, okay, to 2026, may interest payment. And in 2026, aside from the interest payment, is the payment for the principal, of course, 3 million. Ayan. So, yung gagawin natin is, compute tayo ng, compute tayo ng present value factor to get the present value of the future cash flows, to get, of course, the impairment loss. No? Now, remember na ang schedule na to ay ginawa on December 31, 2020. Okay? December 31, 2020. Dahil it is in this date na probable ang impairment. Okay? There is a presence of impairment. So, ginawa ito siya in December 31, 2020. And ito daw yung cash flows. Ayan. So, yung i-compute natin na present value factor is also from December 31, 2020. No? So, from 2020, the next cash flow or cash payment, no, from the borrower is on 2023 pa. So, from 2020, December 31, 2020 to December 31, 2023, that's 3 years, no? 3 years. Kaya yung kinumpute na present value factor is 3 periods. 4 periods naman for 2024, 5 periods and 6 periods. Ayan. So, may timeline tayo dito. So, yung timeline natin, yung period 0 natin is December 31, 2020. No? Again, this is the date na kinumpute natin ang impairment. Okay? Or this is the date that indicates na may impairment. Kasi this is the date na sinabi ni borrower na hindi siya makakapagbayad for the next 2 years. Ayan. Okay? So, this is the period 0. Now, on period 1, okay, hindi natin kinuha ang present value factor niya dahil nga wala namang cash flow for 2021. Supposedly, ito yung 1 period, no? Sa 2022, hindi din natin kinumpute ang present value factor dahil wala din namang cash flow, walang interest payment. Supposedly, ito yung 2 periods. Dahil sa 2023 pa ang next cash flow, so yun yung kinumputan natin ng doon tayo nag-start, no, na nagkuha ng present value factor for 3 periods. Okay? So, from period 0 to 2023, that's 3 periods. Meron tayong present value factor for 3 periods. Ayan. For 2024, that's 4 periods. 25, that's 5 periods. And 2026, that's 6 periods. From December 31, 2020, again, when we computed or when the bank, no, determines, no, an impairment, okay, of the loan. Ayan. Okay, so to get the present value, okay, of the future cash flows, multiply mo lang si 240,000 by the present value factor, no, using the original interest na 8%. That's 0.794. Si 240,000 for 2024 naman, that's 0.0735. For 2025, that's multiplied to 0.681. And then to 0.630 naman ang cash flow, no? The 240,000 and 3 million for 2026. Multiply mo siya again sa 0.630. Okay? If you have your calculators there, gawin nyo. Ayan. So, sa calculator nyo, multiply nyo si 240 sa 0.794 until sa 2026. That's 3,240,000 multiplies sa 0.630. And in your calculator, you should get the present value of the future cash flows na 2,571,600. Okay? So, the carrying amount of the loan is 3 million. Ayan. So, 3 million. Bakit 3 billion lang? Bakit walang interest? So, dahil in December 31, 2020, remember that we are computing this one on December 31, 2020, no? Ayan. So, So, wala tayong accrued interest dyan. Kasi nga, nakapagbayad naman siya on December 31, 2020. It's just on 2021 and 2022 na hindi siya nakapagbayad ng interest. Okay? So, the carrying amount of the loan in December 31, 2020 is just the principal 3 million dahil walang accrued interest. You less the present value of future cash flows, you get the impairment loss 428,400. The same process as kanina. Ayan. So, to compute for the allowance for loan impairment, that's impairment loss less accrued interest. So, dahil zero ang accrued interest, so, the impairment loss effectively becomes the allowance for loan impairment. Ayan. So, for the journal entries no, on December 31, 2020, okay, so, to recognize the loss, that's a debit to loan impairment loss, a credit to allowance for loan impairment na 428,400. Ayan. So in the statement presentation naman, the carrying amount of the loan or the amortized cost is just the present value, okay, of the future cash flows na 2,571,600. Ayan. And the as computed here, ito din yung kanyang carrying amount or amortized cost. Okay. Ayan. So, subsequent to the recognition of the impairment, allowance for loan impairment shall be amortized. So, always, the allowance for loan impairment, ina-amortize yan siya. Okay? Yeah, it shall be amortized over 2 years. So, in this case, in this illustration, dahil sa 2 years lang siya, hindi makakapagbayad ng interest. So, within 2 years lang din natin, i-amortize si allowance for loan impairment. Okay? So, unlike kanina, sa previous illustration, dahil wala talagang interest, unlikely talaga yung interest, collection of interest. So, in-amortize natin yung allowance for loan impairment for the rest no, of the life of the loan. Ayan. Okay? Or for the rest of the periods na there is collection of principal. Pero dahil dito, 2 years lang ang hindi mababayaran na interest, so 2 years lang dapat again, i-amortize yung loan allowance for loan impairment. Okay? So, meron tayo ditong 2020 na sa table na date 2020, 21, and then 22. The carrying amount, no? That's 2,571,600. So, to get the amortization, to amortize the allowance as well as the interest income, multiply lang natin si carrying amount. No? In your calculator, i-multiply nyo si 2,571,600 by the original interest na 8%. You should get the interest income or the amortization of the allowance. That's 205,728. Okay? Ayan. So, of course, the amortization increases, no? It increases the carrying amount of the loan. Dahil wala tayong principal payment or collection, okay, every year. So, automatic na siya that the interest income increases the carrying amount. Okay, that's 2,571,600 plus 205,728. Okay, that's 2,777,328. Okay? Or simple technique, no? You can just multiply 2 million, this one, 2,571,600 by 1 plus the interest rate na 8%. So, that's 1.08. So, multiply niyo siya ito by 1.08. You'll get 277,738. Ayan. Okay, so for the amortization in 2022, okay, so may 2021 amortization na tayo. Okay. For 2022 naman, yung gagawin lang natin is that we cannot multiply this one by 10%. Actually, we can if kapag hindi tayo nag round off no ng mga decimal points sa present value natin kanina. At dahil nag-round off tayo, may difference na konti lang. Okay, negligible difference. Kasi nga nag-round off tayo. Pero actually the process should be still the same. Okay, but to get the exact amount, okay, dahil nga nag-round off tayo. So to get the exact amount, yung gagawin natin is, di ba may balance tayo or may allowance for loan impairment tayo na 428,400. So lagay natin dito 428,400. Okay? Now, di ba amortize na tayo ng part of that in 2021 in na 205,728. Okay, so na-amortize na di 205,728. Ayan. So, the remaining balance of the allowance is just have to get the difference, okay, of this one, of this two. Ayan. So, you should get 222,672. Ito na yung nakikita nyo sa table. 222,672. Ayan. So, amortized na within 2 years pa lang ang allowance for loan impairment. Okay? Kasi nga, during these periods lang, walang interest payment. Kaya these periods lang din dapat i-amortize. See? Allowance for loan impairment. So, after 2022, syempre, zero na, no? Zero na yung magiging balance ng allowance for loan impairment. Ayan. So, you can also get the amortization, ito, for 2022 by deducting 3 million or by getting the difference of 3 million, okay, the principal, and the carrying amount on 2021. You get the same exact amount, no? 222,672. Ayan. So, we can now proceed to journal entries, of course. Okay? So, zoom in lang natin. Ayan. So, the journal entries for 2021 is, okay, to amortize the allowance. Okay, that's allowance for loan impairment, debit, credit, interest, income. 205,728 as computed here. Ayan. For 2022 naman, that's debit to allowance for loan impairment and a credit to interest income. Okay, as computed here, 222,672. Ayan. Okay. So to record the interest collection, that's of course, di ba in 2023 nag-resume yung collection. As you can see here, ayan, sa schedule of cash collection, nag-resume in 2023 ang payment or collection ni bank sa interest. Okay? Up until 2026 na yan. But in 2026, that includes the interest in the principal. Okay? Ayan. So, sa journal entries, to record in 2023, okay, to record the interest collection, that's cash, debit, and credit to interest income for 240,000. Now, bakit wala na tayong entry for the amortization of allowance? So, dahil tapos na, no, in 2022. Ginawa na natin sa in 21 and 2022. So, in 2023, wala nang amortization. Solely collection of the interest na lang. Yan. In 2024, the same. No? In 2025, the same entry for the collection of the interest. And then, in 2026, collection of the interest as well as the final settlement or the settlement of the principal. Yan. That's a debit to cash and a credit loan receivable for 3 million. Okay? So, ito yung dalawang example, no? Or illustration. Okay? For computing a loan impairment loss, as well as for the allowance for loan impairment, and then the amortization for the allowance for loan impairment. Ayan. Pag tanungin ka, magkano or what is the carrying amount of the loan in 2021, may table ka. Ayan, which is eto, 2777, 328. Ayan. Okay? So, that's the illustration. Okay? That would be our 2 illustrations for loan impairment. Okay? Now, try this problem. The questions for this problem is eto. May 5 question. And, just like before, comment your answers in the comment section below. Okay, so that ends loan receivable. Okay, that ends the discussion, no, in loan receivable. See you on our next video. Bye-bye.